Hello, and thank you all for joining our SPM Tokyo release webinar today. I'm Deborah McGrath. I'm a senior manager with ServiceNow Technical Solutions Product Marketing, and I'll be hosting the webinar. And joining me today are two ServiceNow SPM subject matter experts from our solution consulting team, Ryan Kaiser, who's a senior solution consultant, and Alex Assis, advisory solution consultant. And while we're very confident that most of what Alex and Ryan are showing today, hold on one second. So most of what we'll be discussing and showing are features that are available as of our Tokyo release, but we've included our safe harbor notice that this presentation may contain forward-looking statements that reflect the current beliefs of ServiceNow, all based on current information available. Actual results may differ materially and should not be relied upon in making purchasing decisions. As always, we'll save a few minutes at the end for Q&A. And now I'd like to welcome Ryan and Alex. We're really looking forward to today's presentation and demo. Ryan, I'll turn things over to you now.
Perfect. Thanks, Deborah. So I wanted to talk about the themes that we're going to be covering today in our webinar. But really, what's slowing down digital execution? First, the ever-evolving technology and trends that have exacerbated our tech skills shortage, as well as the pandemic further worsening our problems, and organizations are facing serious problems with finding qualified staff to fill opening roles. Secondly, while organizations have started transitioning to digital, they're still caught up in legacy systems and silos of data. This has led to costly tech debt and insufficient operations, hurting our agility. Last but not least, with new ways of away from anywhere forming, digital expectations from customers and employees have skyrocketed. It's becoming more and more critical to delivering experiences that meet users where they are, but also doing so effectively isn't as easy. Let's talk about export to PowerPoint. For decades, PowerPoint's been a primary method for conveying key information and insights that allow our leaders and stakeholders to make critical decisions. Even with the rise of real-time dashboards, which I truly love, PowerPoint reporting is here to stay. Some stakeholders may not want to log in and prefer to use and share their classic slide decks. Others may be external to the company and may not have access, but still need a status update. This is where export to PowerPoint can help. Portfolio managers, program managers, and project managers can save valuable hours every month or even every week by automatically exporting project status in bulk. With self-service capabilities to tailor and brand these PowerPoint decks, there's little to do but review and send great-looking decks to your stakeholders. As we noted, some stakeholders may not want to log in and prefer to use and share those classic slide decks. And we also have those others that are external to the company and may not have access to those status updates. And you're now able to create those personalized branded status report decks, pulling in from current data from ServiceNow, all without leaving PowerPoint. Alex will show us in a little bit on how we go about doing that. But I also wanted to cover investment funding and project financials. Keeping a close eye on financials is critical for portfolio managers, program managers, and project managers to know if they may need to request additional funding to achieve the outcomes that they have committed to leadership. PMs can gain visibility into real-time financial metrics by fiscal period, month, quarter, year, to identify if more funding is needed. Plus, they can see those project financial metrics consolidated into one place. There's also a growing need to be able to delegate authority to fund work to a team of people and then get help when they need it by being able to add a co-owner. With co-owners, investment owners will now be able to get coverage while they're out of the office or share responsibilities as they see fit. Project managers will be able to reforecast project costs a little easier by reviewing various financial metrics together, all in the overview tab without having to navigate to multiple pages. Noting a few of those additional updates with the new Overview tab includes enable that viewing into that higher level set of metrics across financial periods that includes budget, planned and actual costs, as well as variance, just to name a few, plus CapEx and OpEx breakdowns to help keep track of those expenditures. But Alex will be showing us a little bit more on that later in the session. I did want to cover that investment funding piece with the co-owner piece, where we're talking about co-owners that are enabling our portfolio managers to delegate ownership to other portfolio managers. And when they're able to delegate ownership, businesses can move more nimbly without being impacted by unexpected events, while also allowing to view not just our particular investment groups, but also those that we're co-owners of. Moving over to our application portfolio management side, we want to talk about our technology reference model. Usage of non-approved software creates high risks to the organization, including security risks, as software may be exposed to specific security issues, delivery risks, as there might not be sufficient knowledge on how to support it, and legal risks, as it might use software that has legal strings attached to it. Duplicate effort and costs can occur if not planned accordingly. Your organization needs a way to define the standards for the software to be used and for the permitted versions of that software. On the other hand, the organization also needs to have a way to explore when non-permitted software is being used within the organization and in which business applications. Solution owners need to have a way to request introduction of new software for the business applications as new requirements arise. The technology reference model enables enterprise architects to define the software product standards in their organization. Software standards can be defined in two levels: software product and software version. Solution owners can request to add new software to be included in the TRM or to adjust a software phase. Requests are reviewed by the enterprise architects that can decide if to approve or to decline them. Enterprise architects and solution owners can also review the status of business applications and review their technical debt. Phases of the software lifecycle can be configured by any customer to match the standards in their organization. And Alex will show us that in a moment. With architectural artifacts, sometimes you may need to rely on external sources to keep and maintain many of your enterprise architecture elements, such as diagrams, reports, and other visualizations. However, it's hard to associate these artifacts to the ServiceNow objects, such as business applications or business capabilities. Architectural artifacts are created to describe a system, a solution, or a state of an enterprise. The goal of architectural artifacts in APM is to enable enterprise architects to create and manage artifacts in their organization. As an enterprise architect, using the architectural artifacts module to perform some of the following tasks, including reviewing and approving architectural artifacts, keeping track of artifact versions, relating architectural artifacts to categories that are configured to match the needs of the organization, as well as associating your architectural artifacts to your organization's business capabilities and business applications. Speaking of architectural artifacts, integrate your application portfolio management instance with your Lucidchart account to directly access your Lucid diagrams from APM today. Excuse me. Automatically generate diagrams from your ServiceNow data so that you can visualize your application portfolio and gain insights that drive optimization. This allows enterprise architects to visualize application portfolio data to see the big picture, customize diagrams to plan future states, and communicate application data across teams and stakeholders. Creating Lucid diagrams in ServiceNow is possible and very easy, with the ability to create business application hierarchy views and business capability map views. Enterprise architects can communicate to their teams and stakeholders those key pieces of information relating to those architectural artifacts, including all of the entities necessary to tell the right story. But I've said enough. Without further ado, let me pass it on to Alex to demonstrate those updates and features that we just talked about. Go ahead, Alex.
Thank you, Ryan. Let's get into the live demonstration of some of those amazing features now. Let me share my screen with you. And there you go. You should be seeing my screen now. One of the major features of this release, and a very anticipated one, is export to PowerPoint for SPM. While real-time dashboards are great, but we understand that some stakeholders may not have access to ServiceNow, and they may need to use PowerPoint decks tailored to their corporate branding standards. And that's why export to PowerPoint is such an anticipated feature of this release. Let's start by going into one of these projects here. And I'm going to go straight to the status report page. Now, as you can see on the far right of the page, there is a new button here for you to access export to PowerPoint feature. So when we click here, you can select any of the different dates, the status reports dates to report on, and then you select a template. Now, you may ask, but why would I have several templates? Why would I have different templates? But it is actually a powerful feature because you can tailor the templates to the occasion. You may have a template with a detailed status report, or you can have a summary version of the status report, or even a one-pager that you share with your executives, for instance. So let me go ahead and export a full status report here. So I'm choosing this template and export. Now you can see this PowerPoint file downloading here. I'm going to open up this slide and bring it over to this screen. And here is our fully branded status report with detailed information of cost, resources, milestones, risks, issues, decisions, actions, and change requests. So all of those things are here. The project overview, you have your costs and your resources, milestones, risks, and a lot of the information here, because this is actually the full status report, okay? Now, you can also see here on the right side of the screen that we have an add-in. So we have the ServiceNow add-in that will allow you to create new templates. Or you simply can take our out-of-the-box templates and make it your own by applying your layout, applying your brand, the logo, colors, fonts, just like I did for our fictitious company, Acme. Okay, so back to the platform now. I would also like to show you that right here on the financials portion of our project workspace, we can see the new overview page. So this is a brand new page called Overview, where you can have real-time consolidated financial view to better understand how funds are being used in your project. So you can monitor the budget, planned cost, actual cost, and as well as EAC and ETC, and also the variance between planned and actual cost, all broken down by CapEx and OpEx and by fiscal period, without having to navigate to different pages to be able to consolidate that information. Now, let's jump to APM for a while, and I would like to show you some of the key features of this release. And now I'm going to start with the easy one, export to PowerPoint as well for APM. So we have the same amount of templates. We can have as many templates as we want. And you can access this feature here from the menu. It's called Export to PowerPoint for APM. Now you just select your template and download, and then you're gonna have the presentation of the current status of your application portfolio. So you can have your landscape, your application landscape, and your capability landscape with all of the metrics revolving around those information. Now, one other thing that we wanna highlight here is the architectural artifacts. Oops. So architectural artifacts. So we have here, sorry about that. Let me go ahead and log in once again.
No worries, Alex. Using a couple instances, huh?
Yeah, these are the unforeseeable, the unforeseeable of
live
our
demo fun.
of our live demos. Yeah.
Right. No worries.
So artifacts is where I was. So there you go. We have architectural artifacts, and here we can have artifacts with the different versions, the related entities, and the diagrams. So let's go ahead and take a look at the artifacts. I'm going to go to the first one. And then this is an example of an artifact here. So you can see that version 1 is the currently approved version of this artifact. And down here, you can also see that it is related to 2 business applications. So it is a diagram, or it is an artifact that describes 2 different applications, and it is currently owned by the Enterprise Architect group. So if you want to take a look at the diagram for your convenience, we have a download artifact here that can actually download the latest version of this artifact. Okay, so another cool things of the artifacts is the integration to Lucid Charts. So you can go to the diagram model, like right here, and you click on Create Diagram. And then we have currently 2 diagram types available, the business application hierarchy and the business capability map. Then you can select which one you want. You select an application that you want to create a diagram for, let's say HR case management. Then you can say what application or what entities should I include in this diagram. So I can do application service, business capability, and information objects, for instance. And we can even link this diagram to a new or an existing artifact. Unfortunately, I don't have Lucid Chart available, so I cannot show you the full feature, but you get the idea. Now, moving on to the third very significant feature of APM on the Tokyo release, let's talk about the Technology Reference Model, or TRM. And there we go again. Now, in most organizations, enterprise architects need to be aware of the approved software product standards. And this is the value proposition of TRM. Here we have 2 major components. Let me just show you the. So 2 major components, the technology reference model itself and the TRM catalog. So the TRM catalog is really interesting because it's something that allows end users to actually submit a request for a new product that is not in the catalog, or to submit a request for a new version of an existing product, right? So the requests will be routed to the enterprise architects for analysis and approval. So let me see if we have any pending requests here. I'm going to go to product requests. And here I have all of the approved requests. And at the bottom, you can see that there is a new request for AutoCAD for the engineering department. So right here, I can access, and I'll see that I am the approver for this request. And since this is something that I have already assessed in the past, and I'm okay with this, I'm going to go ahead and approve the use of this software in our organization. So now, if we go to the technology reference model itself, well, we can access it here from the menu where I showed you before, or right here from the APM homepage. So let me open up the TRM to show you what's happening. You can see here that we have the different publishers of software, and we're going to have the approved or not software from those vendors detailed here in a timeline. So let me go ahead and expand Oracle here and see what products we have with these publisher. So you can see here we have two products. HCM Cloud and Database Server. HCM Cloud has been requested once, but it was not approved for use. So you can see in the timeline, it's on red status of not approved. Now, the Database Server, if we expand that, you can take a look at the whole timeline here. So you can see that previously we were using Oracle 11.2 Standard, 12.1 Enterprise, and 12CR1 Enterprise. Those have since been divested, as you can see from this timeline here, probably because right after that, we have approved the use and defined a new standard for Oracle database, that is the Enterprise or Standard 19C. So what this means is that any applications that require an Oracle database will have to comply with the standard, and all applications that are using obsolete versions of Oracle database are now in technical debt. Now, regarding AutoCAD, you can see that the AutoCAD is the software that I have just approved, and you can see here that it's already in the approved state in TRM. So what's left to do is just that I need to tell my users what versions I'm allowing them to use. So here's what I want to do. The version 2022 is the version that I have approved. And I also want to let them know that version 2023 is going to be evaluated, and we're going to do that later this year. So I'm going to set that to November. And if we go back to our reference model, you can already see once we reload the page, you're going to see the timeline for AutoCAD here. And you can see 2022 is approved as of now, and 2023 is going to be evaluated later this quarter. Okay, so back to APM. Last thing that I want to show you about this is in the TPM, Technology Portfolio Management, you're also going to see that there is a link between TRM and TPM. And now on TPM, we can assess technical debt. We can assess the risk of applications because of obsolete software. So if I turn on the TRM lifecycle, I can take a look at the superposition of the lifecycle, our internal lifecycle from architecture for each product, the status, and then I can see here that for Microsoft R Server, what's going on is we have here a version that is not approved for use, and this version is used in a few business applications. So that may be considered a risk or a technical debt. And then we need to figure that out. And then with that, we end the live demonstration. And let me go back to the presentation here for a moment. So in summary, we have seen both in Ryan's presentation and in the demo, our highlighted features from Tokyo. So you saw export to PowerPoint for both SPM and APM. You saw some enhancements to both project financials and investment funding features, as well as 3 new major features in APM focus on the enterprise architects: the technology reference model, Lucid chart integration, and architectural artifacts. Now, back to you, Deborah.
Thank you, Alex and Ryan, for that great overview of our SPM Tokyo release. These great new features really help us prioritize work, set technology standards on software to help minimize risk, and just make things more intuitive, all really enhancing the user experience. So thank you for that. And I'd like to thank our audience for attending our last Thursday's webinars. On the last Thursday of every month, we present a webinar, new strategic portfolio management capabilities or enhancements to existing applications. And I'd love to extend an invitation to all of you to join us for our next webinar, which will be on Thursday, October 27th, for a discussion on transforming Agile at scale. And this will include a demo of how the ServiceNow Agile and safe applications enable this. And on December 1st, we'll take a close look at the new Alignment Planner Workspace Lenses and Portfolio Plans feature that's due to be released in our November store release. Due to the holidays in late November and December, we're combining those months and doing a single webinar on the first Thursday in December instead. And just to point out, you'll also be able to view this webinar again and access any of our other previous last Thursday's webinars on demand from the SPM forum at community.servicenow.com. And earlier I posted the link to it in the chat session. And speaking of that, I'd like to turn now to our Q&A. I think actually maybe we've answered all our questions. I thought we had a couple others. Feel free to post them if you'd still like to. I'd also like to point out that if you did have some questions, didn't ask them, or didn't get quite the answer, please refer to docs.servicenow.com too. I'll post that link in the website in the chat window. But all of this is actually described. So when we do a release, we also update our documentation site along with it. So hopefully you'll get some additional information about the technology reference model that was discussed, architectural artifacts, export to PowerPoint, and all our great features. So do we have any other open questions? I see them in the Q&A, they're answered. Or Ryan or Alex, is there anything else you wanted to add to any of the questions that were asked?
Deborah, I'll actually chime in here. We had a great question here from Brenna. She was asking if there's the ability to mass export PowerPoints based on a list. Maybe you want many different project status reports, maybe every week, to go into one PowerPoint report. The answer is yes. We have what's called a repeating slide. And you can essentially run it for, let's say each project in a portfolio, or it may be, 10 status reports from one project. That capability is available from a technical perspective. Out of the box, we do have just one out of the box status report that is just for one single project status report as of now. But there is the ability to configure it to do exactly as you were asking there, Brenna.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. Aaron Picard, everyone chiming in. All right. Any last questions? We're right at the half hour. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you again, Ryan and Alex, for that great presentation and demo. That's all the time we have today. And thank you to our Last Thursday's audience for joining us.